Okay, so lead measures and lag. The lag is the result, so it's the dollar, it's the percentage, it's the ratio, it's the number of, it's what you measure as an outcome, it's the output. The lead is what gets you to the output. So the lead measure could be, for example, the quality, it's very qualitative often, the quality of the phone call to the prospect. And that could be assessed by length of phone call, or we train our sales team, the Marvels, in what makes a quality phone call. And we talk about warmth and certainty and passion. That if that's present on the phone call, the person's buying the person and how they feel about things rather than they're buying a program. No one ever bought a TCI program, no matter how much we think we are. We're buying an emotion. So the lead measures can include the emotional content. For example, customer service. It's not just how promptly you get to the person, which I could argue could be a lag measure. Does everyone get that? So every phone call must be answered within 2 rings. I call that's a lead measure, but I could argue that's a lag measure. That's an outcome. It's getting to the call in 2 rings and the quality of which you answer it. What do you bring to that phone call? Is it formal or is it informal? And we encourage informality and familiarity and a sense of we've known you forever. That's how we train people who answer our phones rather than professional answering it. And that all goes to, we really think about the lead measures, not in terms of speed of response, which we do measure, but then what happens when they have responded. So it's very much backing up and thinking about what does this experience need to become to create the lag measure we want to achieve over and over and over again. And then, which I haven't talked to you about yet, all your training goes into lead measures. All of your training, all of your development of people. It's not, you don't need to train them in hitting a goal, you need to train them in all the steps that lead to them hitting a goal. So the worst thing you can see when a leader does this, they come onto the floor, how are the results today? Who's made a sale today, or how many sales have you made today? They're asking about a lag measure, and that's the least interesting thing about the day. It is a historical reporting of stuff that's already happened. If I walk onto the floor, these are the questions I'm asking, because I'm thinking about lead. What are the quality of the calls you're having today? And someone say, oh, you're really good. I will then ask, tell me about the calls. Give me an example of one that went well. Well, I was really warm and they really chatted with me and they seemed to have a really good time. Great. Have they booked in for a second conversation? I know that's a lead measure. No, they didn't. Okay, so tell me again how it became elevated to being a great conversation. Because if we measure great by the quality of the lead, or excellent or outstanding, then there has to be certain parameters or criteria present. So remember, we talk a lot about criteria in the lead measures. So if you're in marketing, it's not just numbers of leads that you generate, it's how you get there. And there's all the steps to get there, and it could be the number of lead pages you have, the number of sales pages you have, the number of ads, the cost of the ad and how you get the cost down. There are so many factors that go into it to get to this. So if you're a leader or you're a coach, don't keep asking, tell me how much money you made, tell me about the numbers you did, tell me about the percentage conversion, tell me about the ratios. Don't ask about that if you're not putting, I'd say the ratio would be 5 times more effort, probably more, into lead measures. I'd say it's a 5 to 7 to 1 ratio, lead to lag. This is what happens if you want to be an inspiring leader. Every time you ask a lag measure question and the answer is bad, we didn't get the sales we wanted, you just uninspired them. So did you hit your numbers today? No, that's a downer. But if you'd done this, tell me about the quality of your calls today. Tell me about what you learned today. Tell me about what you focused on today. Tell me about what you cared about today. What did you notice was coming back to you from the prospects? How are they responding to you? They're all lead questions. Now, based on that, who's following so far? Who's intuiting where I've got this so far? There's all this focus on the lead. Because then what I say is, great. So I'm hearing blahs happening. And I don't even know the results yet. I don't ask about the results yet. So I'm hearing blahs happening and blah. I'm wondering if that perhaps is going to cause a little bit of a lag in their decision because you're not creating the urgency you need to. Or I'm wondering because you didn't do this section of the sales conversation very well, or as well as you wanted, it's going to create these kind of results. And so I start teaching before I know results. Please stay with me. You can have some people jag a great result who didn't do any of the lead measures. Some people might do well despite themselves because they burn through their territory, because they don't take the care and they go for the short-term sale ahead of the relationship, because they throw in some bonuses or some kickbacks that they shouldn't have. And so if you only lead with a lag measure, so how was your day? Oh, I smashed my numbers, and then the top performing car salesman, for example, you've got a problem because you're rewarding the wrong thing. They haven't done something that is aligned with your business's purpose or the sustainable systems you have in place. So to keep coming back to outcome, outcome, outcome is to reward someone who thinks all you care about is the dollars, the numbers, and the conversions. But if you put a lot of effort into this, you're going to develop them. This is the other great reason for it. The more you put into lead measures, the more that person feels appreciated because you know their job. You know what it takes. So you could say things like this. You still don't know the results. Hey, yesterday you were really struggling with X, Y, and Z. How did you resolve that today? Or was our conversation helpful at all? Now we're moving into the people part of the ESIP model because we're now starting to think in terms of our structures, helping them develop. How did you go with that conversation? Did that resolve itself a little better? Well, no, I still found, okay, well, let's start training you on that. Or it went much better and this is how. Now I've got all that information, I might say something like this. Well, based on what you're telling me, your day should have been probably only an average day. You probably didn't smash the results you wanted based on what you're telling me because there were some dips and ups and downs in some of the things that need to be taken care of. How am I doing? And I become a predictor of their day rather than having them just report in their day, which is incredibly tedious and starts creating anxiety in the salesperson or in the marketer. If all you say is, did you hit your numbers? Did you hit your numbers? Did you hit your numbers? They start feeling like all they have is they have numbers and you don't care about them, which is every bit of research shows if you don't do appreciative inquiry, this is called appreciative inquiry. If you don't do appreciative inquiry, they don't feel appreciated. So the focus for many reasons needs to be on the lead measures. Then they say, yeah, it wasn't the best day. Okay, well, we could probably tell why. What is it we can do? And I still haven't got the numbers. What is it we can do differently tomorrow so we can start improving? And they start teaching you ways to improve. So you just make sure you check it off in your head, is it all the lead measures you know that works? Then you might put them some training or some development.